You're listening to the Outer Banks This Week podcast, a place for people to hear what's going on up and down the beach and get the truth about what really goes on around the Outer Banks. So here we go.
All right. Thank you, Lexi. Outer Banks This Week podcast, episode number 89. And it's all brought to you by Kelly's Automotive in Manio. The holiday season is on its way. Salute-dee-doo and dickory-dock. I'm not going to sing anymore because, well, you don't want to hear that. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. The holiday season's coming up. What better gift than the gift of a vehicle, the gift of a shed, the gift of something over at Kelly's Automotive between Kelly and Dakota? They can get you all hooked up this holiday season, this Christmas season. Visit them online at kellysobxauto.com. We are in November. It is November on the Outer Banks. The weather has been beautiful. The temperatures, 1 minute, the highs are in the low to mid 60s. The next day, they're in the low to mid 70s, and then they're back in the low to mid 60s. Eventually, we will see our highs in the mid 50s, low 50s, and then the 40s, and so on and so forth. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with these temperatures. 60s. You can open your windows up comfortably at night. You don't have to cut the heat on. 70s during the day. You still don't have to cut the heat on. You can leave your windows open. I'm totally okay with this. I believe my wife said our power bill for the month of October was maybe like $90 or something like that. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. You think about in the summertime months when your air conditioning is running nonstop. Now we get to save that money again in a roundabout way, I guess. So like I said, things doing great temperature-wise. November, again, it's probably my favorite month. Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving here in just a few moments. I want to give every restaurant that has something going on for Thanksgiving, I want to give you an opportunity to send me your menus so that way I can kind of talk a little bit about them throughout the podcast coming up throughout November, okay? I got the menu from the captain's table at the old Owens restaurant right in front of me. Thank you to Chef Rick Gregory for sending that to me. You can get, I'm going to go ahead and just go through it real quick. Okay. So here's their menu: butternut squash soup and Hatteras style clam Hatteras style clam chowder with a salad of mixed baby greens. That's your starters. Now, main selections: herb rubbed toast, roasted gravy with giblet, or roasted turkey with giblet gravy. I'm going to get it right. Baltimore honey and brown sugar glazed Carolina ham, baked local rockfish, local oysters, chef carved roasted prime rib. Oh gosh, a North Carolina pork loin, Atlantic salmon, seafood lasagna. Got all the different sides: a cranberry relish, mashed potatoes, yams, green beans. Anyway, you can get all this. The desserts: a pumpkin cheesecake, sweet potato pie, bourbon pecan pie. And then there's some different key lime pie just to round out the desserts, along with some other things. Ooh, chocolate mousse. Got to get the chocolate mousse. Then, of course, there's a specialty menu item that's iron skillet seared crab cakes, 8-ounce center cut filet mignon, broiled seafood combination, and crab stuffed flounder filet. All right, now you can get that specialty menu items, or you can get the main selections, the buffet selections, $42.95. Not a bad deal. Children ages 7 to 12 are $19.95, and children under the age of 6 are no charge. That's what's going on at the captain's table at the old Owens restaurant in Nags Head. So I want to kind of give them a quick shout out to Chef Rick Gregory and his wife Erica, doing a fantastic job over there. I had breakfast there not long ago, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So they welcome you to their table for Thanksgiving this year. So if you have a Thanksgiving menu and you're serving Thanksgiving dinner this Thanksgiving, send it to me. I would love to promote it for you. Podcast at outerbanksthisweek.com. Now, I know I had said that I was going to have Miss Jan Dawson, author Jan Dawson, on the podcast, but I actually made her podcast a few days ago. I released her podcast as a standalone edition of the podcast. Okay, so if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and take a listen to it. She has 2 books out. She's got a 3rd one on the way, and she's got some ideas for a 4th one to come out later on in 2025. But there's the book Storm Season and Hooked on You. 2 books about Hatteras Island. They're fiction books. Keep that in mind. They've got some hints of realism, some real events, but you got to kind of read through and figure out exactly what those are. But they're ultimately fiction, clean romance novels, not that steamy romance novels. They're more like love stories, in my opinion. But again, clean romance novels. Miss Jan Dawson, you can buy her books at any of the local bookstores here on the Outer Banks, or online at Amazon.com. You can get them on over there. So keep that in mind. Just search Jan Dawson. But I released that podcast earlier this week. Today, we're going to be talking to Miss Elizabeth Silverthorne with the Beach Food Pantry. She and the Beach Food Pantry, they're putting on the Chef's Challenge. The 9th Chef's Challenge is going to be going on Saturday, November 16th at the Pavilion at Pirates Cove, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening. Going to have her come on here in just a little bit and talk a little bit more about that. So I appreciate her for joining me on this episode of the podcast, which I believe, did I say episode 89? It is episode 89. News. There's one piece of news that I don't know. The jury's still out on it from what I understand, that's sticking out to me right now. I believe the jury's still out on it. I haven't heard anything as the time of the recording of this podcast, but there was a dead bear found at the corner of E.R. Daniels Road and Burris Road in Wanchese over the weekend. How did the bear get there? What happened to the bear? How did it die? This jury, again, as far as I understand, the jury's still out on that. There have been people that have said that they did see a bear over the weekend. Then there's those that have theories that, somebody dumped the bear there at the corner of the road. But if you look at where it was placed, it appears to me as if somebody put it there. I don't know. There's lots of different theories. That's just mine. But again, there was someone who claims to have seen this same bear over the weekend somewhere walking around Wanchese. So that's something to keep in mind. But again, a bear in Wanchese, is it unheard of? No, it's not unheard of. I believe my parents claim to have seen a bear in Wanchese over 35 years ago. So, and I'm sure there's been sightings in the marshes and stuff like that that nobody's ever really talked about. So I don't believe it's unheard of because they will swim the sound. So a bear in Wanchese, okay, black bear. There was pictures of it on the Wanchese community group on Facebook. So if you're in that group, you can go take a look at those pictures. But I do know that the officers, I was talking to one of the officers out there on the scene because I rode by it the other day when Austin and I were on our way to church. We stopped and we saw said bear. And I asked one of the officers whom I knew, I said, man, what are you doing? What happened? What are you doing out here? You know, that sort of thing, just kind of heckling him, giving him a hard time. And he said that a marine biologist was coming to examine the bear. And I was like, a marine biologist to examine a bear. Got it. Okay. So a bear in Wanchese over the weekend's the only news that's jumping out at me right now. But for all other news, you can go online to SamWalkerOBXNews.com because if you have questions regarding things in the news, Sam Walker is the answer. Grand Slam. Woo! Sam Walker at SamWalkerOBXNews.com. I want to thank Mr. Greg Smerdell for coming in and being on the show with me last week. Now, that's a man of many talents, a man that wears many hats. He does a lot of things. Definitely all over this beach. He's all over Manio. You got the trivia nights going on. He's got Radio Free Outer Banks. He's an author. He does stand-up comedy, which he's got a show coming up at the Jolly Roger I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So I was very thankful to have him in. He's a super nice guy. Enjoy talking to him. And again, you would enjoy talking to him as well. So if you get a chance to hang out with Greg Smerdell, do so. Go back and listen to the previous episode of the podcast, the one before Jan Dawson Special Edition, the one from last week, episode 88. And just hear all about him and what he does, and just the different varieties of entertainment he brings to the Outer Banks. There's a walking tour. I can't forget that. My gosh, guys everywhere. So I want to thank him for coming on the show. Captain Marty's plugging right along with the fishing reports. Captain Marty Guide. We're getting ready to do some more fun things with Captain Marty in the very near future. Still trying to work out some of those kinks. We have lots going on here at Outer Banks this week. We're not just a podcast. We're not just a print magazine. We're not just online. We do a lot of things. And we've got a CEO by the name of Phil who does a lot, and he is a busy man and trying to hammer out some of this Captain Marty stuff. I'll go in his office like, Phil, when he talk about Captain Marty, he's like, give me 5 minutes. And then in 5 minutes, we'll sit down and we'll talk about some Captain Marty stuff. And then he's like, on to the next thing. But it's trying to take all these little segments of time when we talk and piece them all together and make something magical with them. So we're still working on it. It's a group effort here. But you can still listen to all the Captain Marty's fishing reports and his stories online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. Going to take a quick break and we're going to jump into some shout outs. Before we do, though, you heard me talk about Jan Dawson. I'm going to let her talk to you about her books and how you can get them online here in just a few moments, or actually coming up right now, along with the Dare Education Foundation's signature event and how you can get tickets for that as well.
Don't you want to unwrap a bit of summertime this holiday season? It might be cold outside, but it's time to head to the Outer Banks in 2 Jan Dawson Hatteras Island romance novels that are sure to warm your heart. Find your favorite reading spot and snuggle up to an old love rekindled in storm season, or a new romance after heartbreak in Hooked on You. Storm season even has a Christmas ending. Make sure Santa has these books at the top of your list, or make someone's holiday OB extra special. Available at all Outer Banks bookstores or on Amazon. Just search Jan Dawson.
Back by popular demand, the Dare Education Foundation Dueling Pianos signature event, presented by Town Bank, Friday, January 31st from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at 108 Budley in downtown Manio.
Dance the night away to the New York Dueling Pianos while supporting Dare County Schools.
With a live auction and buy it now auction, fantastic food, and tasty beverages, this is guaranteed to be the party to start the year off the right way.
Get your tickets now at dareeducationfoundation.org. All money raised goes back to our teachers and kids.
It's a ton of fun for a great cause on Friday, January 31st at the Dare Education Foundation's Dueling Piano signature event.
That's right. Go online to dareeducationfoundation.org to get those tickets for the signature event, the Dueling Pianos. I want to thank Macy and Kara, give them a quick shout out for coming in and recording that wonderful commercial. Two fantastic ladies. Love how much energy they pour into the community, especially with DEF and the other things that they're involved in. They do a lot. If you ever see Macy Shova and Kara Diaz around the beach, two wonderful ladies, again, that do a lot for this community. They pour back. They're like behind the scenes kind of people. When I told them, I was like, look, y'all need to record the commercial. They were like, oh, no, not us. I was like, yes, you. And they did it. They did a great job. Knocked that one out of the park. So shout out to Macy and Kara for just being awesome people all the way around. From top to bottom, they're great. Love them. Love them very much. All right, so let's jump into some other shout outs. And again, if you're a listener to the podcast, you want to give somebody a shout out, something going on around the community that needs a shout out, let me know. Podcast at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. All right, I got an email actually from Greg Smurdell. Greg Smurdell emailed me. He said, I'd like to shout out to you, Justin Bateman. Yes, you. You should get credit for keeping the Outer Banks informed and for having me on the podcast. Thanks for everything. Greg, it's my pleasure, dude. Honestly, like I said just a few moments ago, fantastic guy. Go like and subscribe to his Facebook page, Greg Smurdell Trivia, Outer Banks Trivia. And you can follow him around, and he posts everything up there. So, and again, I'm going to talk more about the comedy night he's got coming up at Jolly Roger here in just a little bit. So, Greg, hey, man, thanks for the email. Really appreciate it, dude. You keep doing your thing, too, man. Keep everybody entertained. You're doing great. I also want to shout out to all the veterans in the world. Veterans Day is coming up on November 11th, and I need to shout out to the Marine Corps birthday. I can't forget that. I got a buddy of mine down in Florida that I could tell a funny story about something he did one time, but he's a Marine and he's a very proud Marine, and he will not ever let me forget the Marine Corps birthday. So shout out to the Marines. Shout out to the veterans. Again, Veterans Day coming up. It's because of the veterans and those that have fought for us in this country that we get to enjoy some of the liberties and freedoms that we have today. So shout out to all the veterans for being willing to make the ultimate sacrifice if you were called upon, and for being willing to go and fight the good fight for our country. We greatly appreciate you. Again, if you have a shout out you want to give to someone, please let me know. I would love to give them a shout out. Podcast at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. Going to take a quick break, and we're going to jump into the 9th Beach Food Pantry Chef Challenge. And that's all coming up on the 16th of November. We're going to have Miss Elizabeth coming in here to talk about that. Before we do, let's talk to our friends down at the Inn on the Pamlico Sound in Buxton.
In one word, how would I describe the Inn on Pamlico Sound in Cafe Pamlico? That's easy. Unparalleled. The Inn on Pamlico Sound is a full-service European-style boutique hotel. Their rooms are all tastefully decorated individually to give you that at-home feeling. Cafe Pamlico is a casual, fine dining restaurant on the water offering brunch daily and dinner nightly. They also welcome large parties, have wine tastings, and live music. Reservations are recommended, and be sure to ask about on-site weddings and catering. Visit them online at inonpamlicosound.com. The Inn on Pamlico Sound and Cafe Pamlico in Buxton, a hotel and dining experience that is completely unparalleled.
All right, sitting across from me right now is Miss Elizabeth Silverthorne from the Beach Food Pantry. She's here to talk to us about this is the 9th Chef's Challenge coming up on Saturday, November 16th from 6 until 9 at Pirates Cove Pavilion. Is that right?
That's right.
Excellent. Well, Miss Elizabeth, first of all, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Greatly appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me and to talk about this. But, there's still probably a few people out there that don't understand exactly what it is the Beach Food Pantry does for the Outer Banks. Let's talk a little bit about the mission of the Beach Food Pantry before we talk about the event. Can we do that?
Absolutely. So our mission is fueling hope and ending hunger, and we partner with our donors and community to provide access to nutritional food, ensuring that no one worries about where their next meal will come from. And that nutritional piece is very important to us.
The nutritional piece. So it's not candy bars and, dare I say, junk food. It is great nutritional food that will be distributed to individuals that may need it.
Correct.
So, okay, now, do you have where's your home of operations? Where's your home base?
So we are located in Kitty Hawk, just across the bypass from Guy C. Lee.
Okay.
And we operate primarily out of that location, but we are also in the process of, in the next week or two, we will be opening a satellite location in Rodanthe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, and then we also do mobile pantry events and things all over town, produce distributions, and I shouldn't say town, all over the whole county.
Okay, excellent. So how does this operation work? How, if somebody were to apply for help with the Beach Food Pantry, how does that process take place?
Yeah, absolutely. So it depends on which of our programs. We have 10 programs that we serve the community with, but our primary program, we call it our in-store shopping experience. And that's where people actually come up to Kitty Hawk and they have a 30-minute shopping window. They have a shopper that helps them to bag items. And everything that we do is by choice because we want to make sure that it is going to work for any dietary restrictions and also for the things that your family likes to eat. And so it's actually set up like a small grocery store and people walk through and it's 2 weeks of food based on family size. And we also provide some personal hygiene supplies and pet food when it's available from our donors.
Okay.
So you would go online to beachfoodpantry.org and scroll down on the homepage and it says need food now. And there's an application in step 1. We do have to collect some information and we also try to find out why someone is coming to us so that if there are any other community resources that we can connect them with, we want to make sure that we do that so that they can get back to their regular life as soon as possible.
Excellent. So you also will help them connect with other different areas in the community that can help them as well, not just on the food nourishment side of things.
Oh, absolutely. We find that most of the time it isn't just a food issue. There's some sort of crisis or emergency that's brought people to us. And so it might be a car repair or a home repair or a medical bill or something along those lines. And so if we can connect them with resources that can help them to fix that, then usually it can help not just with the food situation, but just, getting back to normal in general.
Excellent. So at the Beach Food Pantry right there in Killable Hills. Kitty Hawk. I knew I was going to. I was trying to think about Guy C. Lee and where it is in Kitty Hawk. So right at your location now, you have like frozen food, stuff like that, or is it all like non-perishable food items, canned foods?
No, we have everything. You'd be amazed. So we do have non-perishable food, obviously, but we purchase produce each week and make sure that we have lots of fresh produce options. We also have frozen meats and we purchase milk and eggs. And we also get different donations from the stores that are perishable product that help to round things out, like baked goods and deli items and that sort of a thing.
Okay, excellent. But in order to keep these products coming into the store and to keep the money flowing on into the Beach Food Pantry itself for y'all to buy the different items that people are wanting and needing and whatnot, got to have some sort of benefit in order to help fuel some of that. So we've got the 9th, we can't say the 9th annual because we did miss the COVID year, but it's the 9th Chef's Challenge coming up, like I had said, on Saturday, November 16th, starting at 6 o'clock at the Pavilion at Pirates Cove. So let's talk about this big party that's fixing to happen. Now, what are they going to be cooking? That type of stuff. Let's talk about this party. How can we be involved with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this event could not happen without our generous sponsors. Our lead sponsors are Surf Pediatrics and Medicine, Surf Urgent Care, and Southern Bank. So we're very grateful to them for that.
Okay.
And then in terms of what they'll be cooking, so the chefs will be making signature dishes using ingredients that we commonly carry in the pantry. And so they have to whip something up, and then there is a judge's choice and there's a people's choice. So everyone that's there gets to vote on what their favorite dish is.
Okay. So do we have, let me ask you this. I'm trying to kind of get an idea. Now, do you already have an idea of the ingredients that may be in one of the items that they're going to be making, or can we not talk about that just yet?
Well, this year is a little different. So in the past, we've just asked them to come in and do tours, and then they could kind of pick anything that we have in the pantry, which, like I said, you really never know. This year, we've actually given them a list of proteins to choose from, a list of vegetables, and that sort of a thing. So I don't know any particular dish yet, but I know that, there's a good amount for them to choose from. One of our participants every year, even though we don't carry Spam, every year he makes Spam.
Nice.
Something or another. Last year it was Spam tacos, and it actually won the judge's choice. And so I know ground pork is on our list. So I'm sure there will be some sort of a Spam offering, but he makes it amazing.
Okay. Excellent. So there's a little idea of what could potentially be made. So if I wanted to get tickets, how much are tickets?
They are $125, and that is for a regular ticket. And then that includes the food and an open bar and the silent auction and other entertainment that's happening throughout the night. And then there's also a designated driver ticket, and that's $55. And so that includes the food, but no drinks. It's soft drinks.
Okay. So let's make sure we convey this properly. So $55 for no open bar, but get you entry into the event, able to try the foods and everything like that, and it gets you kind of unlimited Pepsis. Because that's born in North Carolina, so I say Pepsi. Some people are like unlimited Cokes. I'm like, no, that's a Georgia thing. We talk about North Carolina stuff on this podcast.
Yes.
But then if you want the open bar,
yes,
along with the entry and everything that comes, all the bells and whistles there, that's $125.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. All right, so can you maybe give us an idea of the restaurants that are participating, maybe, kind of, sort of?
Yes. So right now, Blue Water has confirmed that they're coming.
Okay.
And Mama Quant's. We've got Scratch Kitchen. We actually, the first time this year, we have Outer Banks Health's Coastal Cafe. So Alfredo's going to be whipping up some stuff there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
We've got Jolly Roger, Shipwrecks, Goodwin's, the Captain's Table, and one of our returning participants is Claire's Cakes, and she always does an amazing job. Yes, I do too.
Claire.
I do too, and more. So it should be a good time. There'll be plenty of food. There'll be all sorts of different styles because it's lots of different chefs, and should be a good time.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you looking to add more participants?
We would love to have more participants.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We have the ability. Basically, they just have to be able, they used to cook in the actual competition, but open flames are no longer permitted. So basically they're bringing their dish with them and serving it.
So they're cooking at their actual location, wherever the restaurant is or facility, and then bringing it with them, keeping it hot the whole time.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I was wondering about that. I didn't know if they were going to be cooking it on site. So you answered a great question that I was going to ask, but I hadn't gotten there yet. So that works out really good, though, because, I mean, I can appreciate the open flame thing. And
yes.
Yeah, can totally appreciate that. So they will be cooked at their location, wherever the restaurant or facility is, and then brought to the Pirates Cove Pavilion and kept hot right there. That's going to be excellent because, I mean, think about it. In a way, they're able to display their foods and talk to you about their restaurant or whatever while they're standing there and displaying their foods for those that are doing the People's Choice.
Absolutely. And that's always one of the things that participants say that they really enjoy. They also are not limited to bringing just one dish. So there's one signature dish that is the competition dish that people will vote on. Okay. But because we are limiting the ingredients that they can use, they can also bring like what their dish is. Their signature dish would be maybe from their restaurant or that sort of a thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I know, for instance, Outer Banks Health's Chef Alfredo, he's bringing 4 things.
Wow.
So yeah, there'll be plenty of food and, like I said, lots of different styles.
Excellent. Because I see you have a dessert category and a savory category.
We do. Right? Yes.
So that's kind of where Claire's Cakes comes into play.
Correct.
Okay. So there's a couple different categories here. And of course, they'll be using items that you typically have at the Beach Food Pantry in order to make these things. Okay, that's going to be excellent. Tickets are on sale right now. Where can they get tickets for this?
So we are asking everyone to go onto our website, beachfoodpantry.org, and under news and events, you will see the Chef's Challenge there, and tickets are on sale there.
Excellent. Of course, they'll get an email confirmation, one of those things they print out, bring in, show it to you. Hey, Miss Elizabeth, here's my ticket. Thank you.
And actually, we'll just have their name at the door. So it'll be like a will call. Yep. They won't even have to print anything out.
Nice. No, look, saving paper. Look at this. Look at that.
Make it easy.
Not killing any trees around here.
Nope.
I love it. So you said there's a silent auction.
There will be a silent auction.
There will be a silent auction. Do we have any of those items yet, or is that kind of still a mystery?
No, we do. We've got, so Miss Lizzie's has donated some items. We've also got some things from White Dough Inn.
Cool.
Yeah, we've got a number of things. There's a house in Ocracoke. There is
auctioning off a house.
50. Well,
cool.
Vacation. There is 1587 has donated some items. It's a good amount. Yeah,
an array of things.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, this sounds like it's going to be a great time. It's all for a great cause. Did we leave anything out? Am I missing anything?
I don't think so on the event. I think that's really it.
Okay, but it's going to be great. The food's going to be amazing. I mean, obviously, if you've done this 9 times, or coming up on your 9th time to do this, there's something to it. You know, people seem to enjoy it. They come back year after year for it and look forward to it every year.
Oh, definitely. People get excited. I think one of the biggest changes this year will be that we have been trying to do a better job of telling our story from the pantry and what we are doing in the community. And so we had a mission moment last year that was a video. This year we'll have a mission moment, but we'll be telling some stories from different perspectives.
Excellent.
And so we're looking forward to being able to share those with folks.
Awesome. That's good stuff. I really like that. I mean, in the Beach Food Pantry, they serve so many throughout the community. It's incredible, everything that you do. So we got to keep this fueled, keep it going, and have some fun while we're doing it. Of course, you said there's going to be a band there on the 16th. Lots of fun's going to be had. There's no reason not to go.
Right. There will be music.
Okay, excuse me, not a band. Good. There's going to be music. I apologize. Okay. We digress. Let's back up. All right, music. Got it.
DJ Gustavo will be there.
Oh, nice. Spinning the tunes, taking requests, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe do a little, I don't know. What's the new dance these days? What do kids do these days in school dances? From what I understand, like they don't even dance. They just kind of stand there and stare at each other.
Yeah. I think that's been the way it's been for all of history, isn't it?
No, I dance. I'm a dancer. Look, I that's kind of my secret thing is I like to dance. So, you ask my wife. She does not like to dance. I try to get her to dance with me. Not at all. She won't have it. Anyway.
Yeah.
But guaranteed, if there's somebody out there cutting a rug, acting a fool, and you're looking at the guy like, it's probably me. So, all right, November 16th, 6 to 9, Pavilion at Pirates Cove. Get your tickets now online, beachfoodpantry.org, and be there to have a great time. Really looking forward to it. Now, let me ask you this before we wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Miss Elizabeth, somebody wants to go, they can't go, but they're like, Dag, you know what? I really want to make a contribution somehow, some way. How can they do it?
Yes, absolutely. And we've never needed contributions more than we do now.
Okay.
We are seeing such an increase in demand that we really need all of the community support. So basically, we have volunteer opportunities. We have 75 volunteers that come every week. We see over 300 volunteers in the course of a year. Monetary donations are, of course, those are really the best for us because we are able to bring in the product that we need and we're able to bring it in as we can absorb it rather than being overwhelmed with it. And those can be made by coming by our website. They can be made by coming into the pantry where they're 8:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. And they can be made by mail. We have a P.O. box though. So please make sure that people contact us to get that P.O. box information and also supporting any of the special events that we do. But, and then of course we can take products, donations. So in-kind food and other items too. So if there's personal hygiene items that you'd like to donate, or, you know, as I mentioned, we do, provide pet food when we are able to with our donors, you know, donating it. So, any of those items would be awesome. And in terms of what kinds of stuff, people always say, you know, like, well, what do you need? What should we bring? But we have commercial refrigerators and freezers, so we can take perishable product. If you're growing something in your garden, you can bring us that if you ever have anything extra in your garden, and that helps us with the produce costs. And then in terms of other items, we just say, because we're set up like a grocery store, bring what your family enjoys, because there's going to be someone that comes in. We see such a range of people. There's going to be someone that comes in that can use and will enjoy those items. So, you know, just keep that in mind. And also, we've got a lot of people that get things on buy one, get one. And they say, you know, if it wasn't for the fact that it was buy one, get one, we wouldn't be able to afford to donate. But they're able to give us that extra item. So anything along those lines, you know, we really appreciate it and we can definitely use it.
Awesome. Okay, good to know. It's all great information in regards to how people can make the contributions and donations. That's good stuff. Well, Miss Elizabeth, I appreciate you again coming in here and hanging out with me for a little bit to talk about the Beach Food Pantry itself, how people can participate and be a part of, and also the Chef's Challenge that's coming up on November 16th. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun, and I really hope to see you all there. Sell this thing out, and let's have a good time. So, Miss Elizabeth, thank you again for coming in.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it.
Let's be real. No one wants to deal with nasty varmints like mice, roaches, creepy crawlies, and critters. Leave that work to the experts at Outer Banks Pest Control. Outer Banks Pest Control is the best on the beach when it comes to eradicating those unwanted creatures. They've been in business for over 25 years with well over 100 years of combined exterminating experience. Specializing in both commercial and residential properties, Outer Banks Pest Control has all the tools and equipment necessary to take on any pesky job. They pride themselves on top quality customer service and workmanship. Hey, if it ain't red and yellow, it's just some coattail riding fella. Outer Banks Pest Control, the best on the beach with a proven track record of excellence since the year 2000 and online at outerbanks-pestcontrol.com. Little fun fact about Miss Jessie Midget over at Outer Banks Pest Control. Something fun about her. Her husband is Kelly Midget of Kelly Auto. How cool is that? And they're literally like a quarter mile down the street from each other. Maybe not even that far away. You can find them in Manio, outerbankspestcontrol.com. They would love to exterminate whatever pest is bothering you. Okay? Yes, love the people over at Outer Banks Pest Control. Going to jump into some events. And again, all these events can be found online at Outer Banks This Week. Hey, look, high school basketball, middle school, high school basketball, wrestling, some of those events, swimming are going to start up real soon. We're wrapping up the other sports seasons, jumping into the winter sports. So make sure you show them some love and support. Another shout out to the Manio High School volleyball team for going 4 rounds deep. Was it 4 or 5? I think it was 5. Maybe it was. Regardless, they made it to the Eastern Regional Championship for volleyball. Fantastic stuff. First time that's happened since like 2003. It's been over 20 years since they made it that far. Good stuff. Good stuff. Congratulations to Miss Heather Daniels Sokolowski. I always mess her last name up. To me, she's always going to be Heather Daniels. So again, wrapping up all those seasons, and we're going into winter sports. Trivia nights, local music, live music, karaoke across the board, all over online at OuterBanksThisWeek.com. Tickets for DEF's Dueling Piano's signature event are on sale now. You can go to DareEducationFoundation.org for more information about that. Of course, you heard the girls talking about that a little bit ago. Graham Alton's going to be back at Fish Heads on Friday, November 8th from 6 until 9. My guy, Graham, always brings the awesome vibes. He always brings the awesome vibes. You get a chance to go hear Graham on Friday, November 8th. Do so from 6 to 9. The 7th annual Latino de Ocracoke Festival is going on Friday and Saturday, November 8th and 9th, starting both days at 10 a.m. at Ocracoke Alive, a big party to celebrate the Latino community on Ocracoke Island. That is what the annual Latino de Ocracoke Festival is about. Oh, let's see. Also coming up Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and the 10th, that's the Outer Banks Sporting Events Marathon Weekend. Go to obxse.com for more information on that. Currituck Bulls and Barbecue going on Saturday, November 9th at the Currituck County Rural Center in Powell's Point. That's going to be starting at noon. You can go to visitcurrituck.com for more information on that party and how to get tickets. They might be sold out, though. Keep that in mind. That one normally sells out. Here's something fun. The Little Lights Fall Festival is going to be happening Saturday, November 9th from 3 to 5 at the Whole Ministry Center on E.R. Daniels Road in Wanchese. It's great fun for the whole family with bounce houses, apple cider, games, and more. Something for everyone. Make sure you invite a friend. The entire thing is free. Here's what I was talking about at Jolly Rogers. So comedians Greg Smerdell and Andy Forrester, they're going to be at Jolly Rogers in Kildare Hills on Friday, November 15th from 7 to 9. Tickets are $15 and online at eventbrite.com. That's Eventbrite. Now, Bright is spelled BRITE.com to get those tickets. Looking like it's going to be a funny weekend because Southern Mama Comedy Tour is coming to the Pioneer Theater Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, the 15th through the 17th, starting at 7 o'clock each night. You can go online to thepioneertheater.com for tickets. And let's wrap this up. We just talked about it, but we'll bring it up one more time. Saturday, November 16th, starting at 6 o'clock at the Pirates Cove Pavilion. It's the Beach Food Pantry's Chef's Challenge. Go online to beachfoodpantry.org for more information and to buy tickets. That's a glance at the events that are coming up in the near future. If you know of any that you want me to mention, please send them to me. Podcast@OuterBanksThisWeek.com, and I'll gladly make sure that your event is talked about, and I'll make sure it goes online at our website as well at podcast@OuterBanksThisWeek.com. Going to wrap this thing up here in just a few moments. So before we do, a word from our friends down at Gallup Roofing and Remodeling in Wanchese. For over 72 years, Gallup Roofing and Remodeling, Inc. has been a leader of their industry on the Outer Banks. Their foundation of quality workmanship puts them at the top of the list when it comes to service or repairs on shingling, metal roofs, decking, siding, windows, doors, and gutters, just to name a few. For an estimate on a project, see more services, or to learn about financing options, go online to galluproofing.com. Gallup Roofing and Remodeling, Inc., covering Northeast North Carolina and the Outer Banks from Corolla to Ocracoke since 1952. You know, I failed to mention that Gallup Roofing and Remodeling, they actually have a location in Granding now. So they're servicing the entire Outer Banks. Rex Simpson, Zeke, Tucker, Hannah, that whole crowd down there. That's a family-owned business. Fantastic folks at Gallup Roofing and Remodeling. All right, I don't think I forgot anything, but if I did, please let me know. Podcast@OuterBanksThisWeek.com. You should have that email ingrained in your head by now, okay? Podcast@OuterBanksThisWeek.com. I want to thank Miss Elizabeth for coming in and being on the podcast with me this week. I appreciate her for coming in and talking about the Beach Food Pantry and the Chef's Challenge that's coming up on November 16th. all going back to a great cause. They do so much for the community here. Why not help them raise funds to do more, okay? Go online to the beachfoodpantry.org for more information on how you can donate or make contributions or whatnot, as well as buying tickets for the Chef's Challenge coming up on the 16th. Okay, so I appreciate her coming in. Next week, going to take the show on the road. Going to Teach's Lair Marina in Hatteras Village. Going to talk to Aaron and Victoria. And let's see, maybe Lee. Yeah, y'all remember Lee. He's been on the podcast before. We're going to talk about Teach's Lair and all that they do down there. And some Queen Anne's Boutique talk. That's Miss Victoria or Princess Victoria's domain. And we're also going to talk to a gentleman named Mr. Tyler, owns Tucana. He's got a food truck right outside. Going to let him talk a little bit about the different scrumptious items you can get down there as well. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Outer Banks This Week podcast. What are we? Episode number 89, and it's all brought to you by Kelly's Automotive in Manio. The holiday season is coming up. Get a car. Get a shed. Get something from Kelly's Auto. Get them a gift certificate to get their oil changed. I don't know. Get them something from Kelly's Automotive. He's got something for everyone there. Don't you love hearing that? They've got something for everyone. Yeah. KellysOBXAuto.com is where you can find them online to browse their selection. Well, I'm out of here. Have yourself a great and wonderful rest of your week. I'll be back next week from Teach's Lair Marina. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.
This has been another epic edition of the Outer Banks This Week podcast. Follow us on social media and be sure to listen every Thursday for a new episode.